JanBask Training. Learn and grow.
Let's get started. So, Solution Architect Associate course. So, we'll explore today that what all different certifications AWS offers, what are the prerequisites for achieving each and every certification, and I'll share you certification details. And then I will concentrate more on AWS Solution Architect Certification, what is expected in AWS Solution Architect Certification, how you can achieve it, and what it will take you to pass that certification successfully and lead a very successful career. We'll also spend some time setting up our AWS account, though I showed you in my previous class how to set up account, but we'll go over it today as well. And maybe you can set up your own account today or maybe tomorrow. And if you find it difficult to set up, reach out to me and we can go from there. So why AWS certification? So it's good to learn AWS. I mean, if you are learning AWS without a certification, it's perfectly fine, right? But certification adds a certain value, what you call it, certain trust for an employer to invest in you. So maybe I'm an employer and I want to hire someone to run my AWS infrastructure for me. I want someone to set up all my servers on AWS. Now, I just put out a flyer or maybe a interview. Okay, I want a guy who can set up my AWS. Initially, I don't care about the certification when I'm just looking to get my work done. But imagine two guys walk in, they're equally good. One has the certification, one don't, right? So certification is AWS has tested you, they have taken your exam, and they say that you match the standard that AWS has set for that particular specialty. So AWS certified person will carry more weight in an interview as opposed to someone who is not certified. But yes, skills matter the most. AWS certification is the next step. You can clear certification even if you are not that skilled, right? So when you are in an interview, they'll ask you a bunch of questions, they'll test your skills, right? If you match those skills, then AWS certified person will carry more weight even if he's matching the skills of a non-certified person. You have to understand that. So it's like going to the gym, right? You can go to the gym, you can do all the exercises that are there, but if you don't follow proper diet, you are not going to get same results, right? So two people going to gym, both working out, one is following proper diet, one is not. The person who is following proper diet will get better results, right? So AWS certification is kind of that diet. You have followed your regime, you know your skill, but you have also followed that diet, you have also done some work, and AWS has certified that, okay, you know this stuff by taking your exam. So as an interviewer, if I find two candidates, maybe you are a bit lacking in some skills, maybe 10 or 15%, you'll carry more weight because you have certification as well. That means AWS has tested you to be good, right? They have taken an exam and you have to pass that. So you're good. So there are three levels to the certification. One is foundational, then comes the associate, and then comes the professional. We went over this as well. Okay, what are the different parts of certification in a previous class, but I'll go over it in detail today. So foundational is like, okay, this is my first class and this is my first time interacting with AWS. I just want to put out there that, okay, I know some of it, but not everything about it, right? Associate is more like a bachelor's degree from a college. You're not a master, but you are qualified, right? So with some experience, you will be a master. Associate is just a bachelor's degree. And being a AWS professional is that you have a master's degree in AWS, right? So foundational is more of doing your high school, right? Associate is more of going to the college, and professional is more of pursuing the master's degree, right? And for professional, I really recommend you that you put a couple of years of experience under your belt and then go for the professional training. Else it's not just worth it, right? But the associate training you can pursue right away. Both foundational and associate training you can pursue right away. But if you can pursue both of these right away, which of these carry more weight, right? Associate training carries more weight than a foundational training. Foundational is very easy. Even like now you don't have that much knowledge about AWS. If I give you a bunch of pages, you'll be able to clear the foundational exam, right? Just go through it, read it, okay, mug it up, and you will be able to pass the foundational exam. Because foundation training exam is not that hard. They don't ask a bunch of stuff. It's just like, okay, I know some of AWS, I'm not sure about it. But yeah, associate training really validates, okay, this person actually knows stuff, right? So the certifications are offered under these categories. One is cloud practitioner, which is the foundational training for all these paths. Then you have your architect path, then you have your operations path, then developer path, and then the specialty. So here's how it works. You want to go out there and explain to someone that I know AWS, you have to have architect path, right? Once you have architect path, that means you know all of AWS, you know all of their services, all of their main services that are used on daily basis, that are used like 80-85% of the time. You know, you are expert in that, and you can build solutions around AWS, right? Operations path is, okay, you have built the solution, I have a diagram, I have built a solution, I have a working proof of concept, a smaller environment, okay, these couple of things are working, I can build other stuff around it, and I can look at day-to-day tasks. You also can look at day-to-day tasks, but a operations person cannot design the solutions, right? Architect person can operate as well as design. Okay, operations guy will only work on it, he cannot design solutions around it, right? Okay, he can work on EC2, the compute service. He will know how to start a server, stop a server, and everything. But a architect will know, okay, where I have to put this server, how big of a server I need, how many servers should be there in each region so that my users are catered well. Maybe I need to attach 100 GB of storage with this. Maybe I need to attach 1 TB of storage, 1000 GB of storage with it. That's what architect does. And that values more because the solution that you come up with ultimately is going to affect the costs, right? And if you lower the costs, then only, and increase the performance, then only your solution is a success, right? You can spend $1 million in a day, come up with a solution that just works, but a proper knowledgeable guy will do the same task in maybe $1,000 or so, right? So you are wasting money if you are not expert there, right? So if you are an expert, you can really save money for the enterprise, and enterprise will value you. Okay, this person is saving so much money, that's why they pay you, right? So any job that you work, you are paid in proportion to the value you are creating there. If you're not creating value, you won't be valued that much, right? If you keep creating value for an individual who is running business, he'll value you. Okay, he'll know, okay, this guy has saved me almost $500,000 last year, right? So it's good to pay him rather than someone who's gonna waste maybe a couple of thousands more. That's why the AWS certified solution architects are so much in demand. I just did a small Google search, okay, AWS certified solution architect salary in US. So this is the median salary. And this particular certification is the highest earning certification of all the certifications out there. So there are thousands of certifications out there, be it Microsoft, be it Google, be it anyone, Salesforce. There are so many technologies out there, but this particular certification is valued the most. Just having this certification can take your salary above $100,000 mark, right? So you go at any link, be it Glassdoor, be it, so Glassdoor gives it at $110,000, right? So ZipRecruiter gives it $115,000. So it's right in that ballpark, right? So it is more than $100,000. It's more than $110,000. So even Global Knowledge puts it at $130,000, right? So if you look at these medians, so LinkedIn puts it at $142,000. It's a median salary. It's not the higher end of the market. This is the median salary, right? This is the average a person who has the certification is earning in US right now, right? Why they are earning? Because you are able to deliver value to an enterprise where you are working, right? You can build solutions that really save money for a company, and they are paying you for that privilege to save money, right? So the average salary, I'm not talking about even if you go at the lower end is still $100,000, right? So any enterprise who has you on their staff knows that you are going to bring value to them, right? That's why they are paying. So the next path is operations. So operations guy will just build stuff. There has to be at least one solution guy for an operation guy to start working. because unless and until solution guy gives him a diagram, okay, you have to create stuff like this, operations guy cannot do that because he doesn't have the expertise and the knowledge of how these solutions work together, right? He doesn't know how they are going to talk to each other. He doesn't know how much money should we be spending on a particular service of AWS. He doesn't know how big of a capacity we need, right? So architect comes in first, then the operations guy comes. Now say you are a developer, right? You write code. So your code has to run on AWS now. You go for a developer certification. It's for a programmer. So the person who has a programmer background, who's been coding for last maybe 5 years, he wants to start a career in AWS. He wants his software, whatever he's writing, to run on AWS. And he wants to be aware, okay, what are the services? How can I integrate them into my code? He will go for developer certification. Then comes the specialty. So there are different products in AWS. Some are compute products, some are security products, some are big data products, some are network products, right? So if you want to specialize in a particular area, right? So say you want to specialize in network, right? So you have the basic knowledge of whole of AWS, but you want to really go deep into a particular specialty. This would be like more like doing PhD, doing the doctorate in a particular thing. So at bachelor's level, you study everything. You have a major, but you study a bunch of other stuff as well, right? When you go for masters, you study only that major and maybe your minor that you have declared on your in your bachelor's degree. But when you go for a PhD, you only select one small subset of that major and master it, right? So this is how it works. Architect or operations or developer, they're just bachelor level degrees, right? So if you do associate, you are just doing bachelor's. You go for professional, you are doing like a master's. And when you go for specialty, you are doing like a PhD in that particular subject. So just to put a hierarchy, I mean, these terms are self-explanatory. You have a specialty, you are a associate, you are a professional. But yeah, to put it in general terms, like how it matches with the real world, this is how it compares with the real world. And to graduate with a PhD, it would take you more than 10-15 years of education in a college. Quite expensive, right? And if you are very focused in AWS, you can achieve all of these certifications in a couple of years, right? And a PhD guy will be earning, I can guarantee you, almost equal or less than a guy who is very strong at AWS, right? So he has a 15 years of education. You have a couple of years of experience on AWS and you are very good at it. You have done all these certifications and you are going to do at a cost that is significantly cheaper than a college education, right? College education can set you back thousands of dollars. And maybe all of these certification, if you do each and every certification that is out there for AWS, it will probably cost you $1,000. Every certification that is there, $1,500, you are done with all the certifications. There are 12 or maybe 15 certifications. If you want to do each and every certification, you don't have to do each and every certification, but say if you want to do, right? Just for the cost of one class that a bachelor guy in college is taking, you can become a PhD in AWS. It's cheap when you compare it with the college education rate these days. So these are AWS recommended paths, how you go about taking certifications. So for professionals, they say 2 years. For associate, they say 1 year. And for the foundations, they say 6 months. Now, here's a catch. 1 year of experience solving problems and implementing solutions using AWS Cloud. This is if you don't have any training, you're just learning on your own. You're working as an intern or maybe a freelancer guy somewhere, and you acquire all the knowledge that I am going to deliver in this class via doing work. But if you do good training, if you read about stuff, if you start working on stuff, right? So you can do that 1 year of training, that 1 year of experience-based training in a couple of days. Because what in 1 year, say you are working at a company, there would be some tasks that you do every day, like creating a server, deleting that server, right? Doing that couple of times gives you the expertise. So it's not like rocket science you have to do, it will be different each time, right? It's same process if you do it million times over, right? And if you do it like couple of times, you are done, you are masters in it. So you don't have to wait a year to pursue a certification. Even practicing something for a couple of times can get you at that level. So as we go along this course, we will take one of the topics that is there in the AWS, explore it in detail, do some practicals around it, do some workshop around it, and you will be as good as a guy who has a year of experience in AWS. So you can go out and give your Solution Architect Associate exam. If you look at the side, these are the specialty. Advanced networking. You want to be an expert in network products of AWS. Big data. You want to be an expert in big data products, then security, then Alexa skill builder, then machine learning. All these are specialty, right? So you want to specialize in particular area, particular 2 or 3 products. It's like doing a PhD in 3 products. You know each and everything about them, right? So for day-to-day operations, you don't need that. But yeah, maybe once in a while you come across a scenario where you really have to get very creative, very, integrative in terms of AWS products, then you can go for a specialty guy. So specialty is more for consultants who work on projects for short-term basis. Companies hire them for a small project that they really want somebody very good to help them. But yeah, 90% of the time, a solution architect would be able to do just that. Say you have a very specialized use case, then you need a specialty guy. And maybe you can pursue a specialty. Maybe you want to be a consultant, right? You can pursue a specialty, but only once you have experience, once you have that level of expertise, because specialty level of expertise comes from practice, not from any training. Once you have 3-4 years of working in AWS, maybe you start working in a company that is more focused on security, right? You would be having a huge security domain knowledge. Then you can pursue AWS specialty and maybe become a consultant, right? But these specialties are very, focused, very small percentage of the market. 80-85% of the market is doing solution architect associate. They are asking for solution architect associate. So these are just the suggested prerequisites, as I said. You don't have to adhere to those. These are just AWS recommended without any training. If you don't have any training, you need to have this. But if you have this training in a month as well, you can give associate exam. So like here we have a month or maybe more than a month with us, right? We have around 30, 35, 40 classes. But when I go and deliver these trainings for corporates inside their offices, it's just 1 week, maybe 3 or 4 hours a day. And they complete that training within that week and get certified within that week. So it's entirely possible. It's not like, okay, this is rocket science. It's so there are huge words, AWS Solution Architect Associate, this and that. There are a lot of services. As I said yesterday, AWS Elastic Compute Cloud is just servers. It's plain old buying a computer, right? They have fancy names attached to terms, but at the end of the day, at core, they are just normal services that you do use, that you take for granted on everyday basis, right? So this is a path. You read about technical essentials, you read about architecting on AWS, you take a exam readiness solution architect associate exam, and then you go for actual certification. These are AWS recommended paths. So how you can find all these paths? You just go to aws.training. So if you go to aws.training, right, this is aws.training website, and maybe you want to learn at your own pace, like, so you can browse some courses. Here are some courses. So he recommends AWS Technical Essentials. There will be something called AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials. So it's in Spanish. There will be in English as well. You can select from any one of these courses. I'm going to teach you, don't worry about it. But say you got some free time, right? You want to explore more. You can go to aws.training. Just click on one of these and start learning, right? So once you have the language English selected, you can click on any one of these. aws.training is the website. Just sign in with your Amazon account, normal amazon.com account that you use for shopping, and you can start learning at your own pace. I'm going to teach you each and everything in the class. Say you have a doubt, you have some free time, like you are on a subway, you have a couple of minutes free with you, you have half an hour. Go there, just click on a bunch of stuff. It's very interactive. So maybe I select something, suppose this. So it will just sign in. It's a free course. You don't have to worry about paying about it. And you just sign in with your Amazon account. As soon as you sign in with your Amazon account, you'll be good to go, right? So it will tell you this. So it has some prerequisites, right? So those prerequisites we are going to cover in this class. We are going to go into detail of each and every service. But say you got some free time, you can explore here as well, right? So this path is for AWS Solution Architect Associate. Okay. This is for professional. So for pursuing a professional level certification, you have to have a associate level certification first. You cannot directly jump to AWS Solution Architect Professional. First, you have to give associate exam, right? And then work for a couple of years, and then you can go for AWS Solution Architect professional exam, right? So it's not like you can directly give that professional exam. You have to have Solution Architect associate. But cloud certified professional, sorry, practitioner is more of an optional thing. You don't have to do that before giving associate exam. You can give associate exam directly after this training. But yes, for a professional exam, you have to have passed the AWS Solution Architect Associate exam first. So this is the format for cloud practitioner certification exam. So you got 90 minutes, about 40-45 questions, and the cost is $100. You can give it from your home as well. You just have to keep your webcam on. A guy at a remote location will monitor you so that you're not cheating. You'll get multiple questions. Just click on the questions, click next. So questions would be like, let me give you an example of a question. Yeah. Say you want to store data in cloud, and that data needs to be very accessible, very fast to upload and download. Which service are you going to use? So you'll have 4 options. One would be EC2. That is wrong because it is EC2 we use for servers, right? You'll get the hang of it once we start going deep into the services. So second option maybe is RDS. You know, RDS is a relation database store. It's for SQL, the database, not the storage. Maybe third option is EBS. So EBS is server memory, not upload and download memory, right? So the fourth option is simple storage service, S3. So S3 is where you actually upload and download stuff. If you remember from the example I gave yesterday, you want to set up a website with 100 GB of storage attached to it. So the right option is S3. You click on that, you get marks for it, and you move on to next question. So this is how the exam looks like. As we go along, I will keep quoting you for each and every topic that we study, what kind of questions can arise from the topic. And I will also give you some dumps around the exam, like previous questions that have been asked in the exam that will give you a pretty good idea about it. Okay. So these are the topics that are there. Basic AWS architectural principles, right? What you have to use if you want your site to be redundant, if you want it to be closer to your users, what are value propositions, how you can save money, what are some key use cases of AWS services, like I just asked you. If you want a fast upload and download storage, what you want to use, how you can implement security, what are cloud deployments and operating principles. We're going to study each and every one of these. Don't worry about it. It's just a prerequisite. Okay, these are the topics that you should know to pass the certifications, because if you have 40 questions, maybe you will get 8 questions from each topic, right? So this is how it works. So if you go for Solution Architect Associate, so it's 130 minutes, 45 to 60 questions depending upon the question type. So maybe if you get easy questions, they'll bump up the question number for you. If you get some difficult question, they will reduce the question numbers for you. And it's usually 40-45 questions. So you get 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes for each question, 2.5 minutes for each question to attempt. So when I gave this exam, I was done in an hour. So I had 130 minutes. It's very easy. Questions are a bit confusing, yes, but you can really breeze through it if your concepts are clear. You can easily do it in an hour. They have given 2 hours and 10 minutes. You can easily do it in an hour if your concepts are clear. Some questions are tricky, I agree, but it's not that difficult. So the topics are AWS network technologies, how you set up your network, right? AWS applications and client interfacing, how you interact with your applications, right? If you want to interact with the server, how will you do that? If you interact with the storage, how will you do that, right? Security and reliability. You want your AWS to be secure. How you go about creating passwords, creating users and everything. How you set up a hybrid load. Maybe you want to connect AWS to your current data center, because you will get this a lot. An enterprise you are working, they already have invested in a data center there in their backyard, and now they don't want to go out and purchase more servers, but instead whatever new application is coming, they want to put it on cloud, right? And those applications that they're putting on cloud has to work with the applications that they have running on their current data center, because they have already invested in it like 15-20 years ago. They're not going to throw away that money, right? If something better comes along, you just don't throw away things that you have. Try to reuse them, right? So if you have a current data center, how will you connect AWS to it? We'll learn about it. High availability and scalability solution, how you going to scale. Say you currently you serve 100 users. Maybe you want to serve 1,000 users. Maybe you want to serve 10,000 or 1,000 users. How you go about doing that? how you can ensure data security, how you can ensure disaster recovery. So if you think about it, the example I gave yesterday, okay, you want to set up a website on US soil, right? With it being highly scalable, very fast. I covered each one of these. Disaster recovery, yes, because even we are in multiple regions. So I had set up my website in a couple of regions. Even if one complete region, 3 data centers are going down, my other region is up and running, right? Because my website is scattered all over US, right? Scalability. We can set up servers very close to the user because it's distributed all over the US. Okay, it's scalable. Highly available, yes, because even if one data center is going down, I have my website running in other data center. Data security, yes, because I have passwords and everything around it, right? So these all were covered in my example yesterday. So that's how it works. Each and every solution that you create as a solution architect has to account for all these things. And as we go along this course, you will really learn how we can go about doing that. So this is for the professional exam. So professional exam is 170 minutes. It's very expensive, but you will be working as a AWS professional for 2 years now. I'm sure you would be able to afford way more than that. It's a 300 USD. It just asks best practices. So best practices you get acquire only when you are doing stuff. You cannot learn best practices by reading bunch of things. Best practices are like what works and what don't, and that you only acquire by working on AWS, by acquiring some experience. And maybe if you are doing good work, you can clear AWS professional 6 months or in a year rather than waiting 2 years. If you have done enough work, because you will having that level of experience. Migration of applications to the cloud. From current data center, how you take application running in your current data center to the cloud. And cost optimization. Say your solution architect has set up, associate level person has set up something, and you want to optimize cost more. It's optimized solution, but yeah, as you have experience, you know what works, what doesn't. You can reduce those costs as well. So AWS solution architect candidates needs to be familiar with following AWS services at the minimum. So these services are the basic services that you are going to be using almost 95% of the time. Maybe 5% there comes the niche use case where you have to select some other service. But these services, the compute, the storage, the networking, the security, the governance, the database, and the applications, these are the services that we are going to be using 80, 85, maybe 95% of the time, right? So we are going to study each one of these. Don't worry about it as we go along this course. All these services and more are covered in this course, right? We will take one of these every day, just one of these. And maybe if you are not clear, I am happy to spend another day on the same service to clear your doubts and everything. And we are going to take each service every day and work on it. Some services are really very simple and really very small in that. So maybe we can do a couple of services in a day. But yes, the important services, I know which services are important and I'm going to spend a healthy amount of time doing that. So in compute, I have my regular EC2, that is my server. Lambda is more of a programmatic way of doing things. So it's kind of an API. And EBS is my storage for that server. Load balancing is when I want multiple servers just working together. They're sharing the load. And Beanstalk is, okay, I don't want to manage everything. Let AWS manage it, but I will tell them, okay, how much capacity I want, right? So Beanstalk works like that. You, instead of telling AWS how many servers you need, you just tell how many users you have, right? So AWS will automatically spin up the required number of servers for you, right? So not everyone who is coming to AWS is an expert. Not everyone has access to these trainings, these materials and everything, right? But still AWS wants you to be able to use their services. So what they have done, they have built a small automation around it, wherein you just tell, okay, I am expecting 5,000 users on my website on my first day. How many servers should I need, right? So they'll tell, okay, let me figure that out, and they'll spin up the required number of servers for you and charge you only for that. Okay, so it is kind of a solution architecting done by AWS for you. But yes, to talk to Beanstalk, you have to learn a few things. It's not just some magic thing. Okay, I just tell you 5,000 user and it will just do that for you. You have to build your solution around it, right? Then you go for storage. You have your S3, that is your normal upload and download. You have Redshift for analytics, storage replay. So don't worry about all these terms right now, because we are going to study each and everything in detail, right? I'm just putting it out there. Okay, these are the services that we have to study, and we will study over next few days. I'm just putting it out there, right? So don't worry if you don't understand what it is. these are just fancy terms for really simple things, right? EC2 is just a server, S3 is just storage, like VPC is just a network. So all these are really very simple things, but yeah, they have like gave fancy names to them. That's it. So AWS installation and setup. So how you go about setting up your AWS account? It's very simple. You go to Google, just search AWS. You did a search for AWS, search result comes up. Click on the first link that is there. You clicked on the first link itself. You will be taken to this page, right? Click on create account. Clicked on create account. You will be taken to this page. Put your email ID, password, confirm your password and AWS account name. Okay, just like we did yesterday. Any email ID. I'm just putting some random email ID. You have to select a password that satisfies this requirement. A capital case, a small case, a number, an alphanumeric symbol. Okay, my password satisfies that. I have to retype that again. All right, maybe it's a GG. Go. Click continue. And then they'll ask, is it a professional account that you're building for a company or yourself? You click personal. Give your name, your phone number, your address and everything, and just click on create account, right? Once you do, you'll be asked for your credit card information. Don't worry about it. They're just going to deduct some money and they'll return that money. It's not like even if they're deducting $1, they'll return that dollar to you. Okay. It will be returned in a couple of days. Don't worry about it. They are just verifying, okay, your payment method works. And as soon as you sign up, you will get access to their free trial. Okay. So I think I have set it up. Yep. So you'll be taken to this console, right? So once you are on this console, just click on services and you have access to all your services. So how you know in which region you are working, it's right here, right? This is the region list. So whatever region you select, say I select US East 1, Northern Virginia, right? Once I select it, I'm in Northern Virginia now. So if I go out there and create a EC2 server, click on EC2, I go to my running instances. It's currently 0 because I haven't created anything. Just click on launch instance. Once you click on launch instance, it will just guide you to a bunch of stuff. Don't worry about it. We are going to get to it. Just this is the way it is done. So when I create a server from here, it will be created in Northern Virginia, the region that you have selected up there. Maybe you want to spin something up in Oregon. Just click on Oregon. You'll be taken to the Oregon website. Once you're in Oregon, same thing. Click on services, go to EC2, and you'll be taken to EC2 Management Console of Oregon, right? We were in Virginia, now we are in Oregon. Maybe I want it in Northern California. Don't worry about it. Click on Northern California. Once you click on Northern California, here you are in Northern California. You can spin your servers in Northern California. So it's just a few clicks away. I mean, imagine doing this without AWS. Like here you have 4 of your AWS, 4 regions in US, on US continent. You can click anywhere and just imagine doing this in a traditional scenario, right? You are an enterprise who wants to build their own data center at these 4 places. You'll have to talk to their governments, the local governments there. You have to select a space, you have to buy that space, then you have to begin construction. Then after doing construction, you have to hire people at all these places. You have to train them at your center location, then send them out there, working there. Then you have to put security there. You have to get redundant power at all these locations. So imagine the scale of it. A small business cannot do that, right? A small business who just has a couple of users, maybe 100 users, 1,000 users, you cannot do that. Maybe a huge corporation like maybe General Motors can do that, right? But if you are a small user, you cannot do that. So Amazon is taking care of that because they have that scale, they're building that, and they are just doing it for you. And you can leverage those services by accessing AWS, right? So these are all, so maybe you want to expand to Asia. These are all the Asia regions that you have. Click on any one of those and you are there and you can spin your, maybe you want to move to Canada. You want your business in Canada. Don't worry about it. Go to Canada. Just click on Canada. You are in Canada region. Spin up your servers there and your Canada users will be using that capacity in no time. Maybe you want to expand to Europe. Maybe you want to expand to South America, right? Maybe you want to set up your business in Middle East. You can run a true global enterprise by just clicking around, right? So whatever region you want to be in, wherever you want to be in, just click one of those and you will be able to just go there and do a bunch of stuff. So right now I am in Northern California. So how I know that it's darker, I've selected that. If I click on Northern Virginia, it will get selected, right? So if I want to go to origin, it will be selected. If I want to go to Asia, no multiple hoops, just a click away. Let's click on Asia and I am directed to Asia, right? I'm in Singapore right now. If I spin up a server, it will come up in Singapore. I'm in US and I'm spinning a server in Singapore. Imagine doing that without AWS. You have to travel to Singapore. It's a long 20-hour flight. You have to stay there, talk to the government, buy land there. After acquiring land, you have to begin construction. You have to coordinate that construction from US. Huge task, very expensive. But with AWS, it's just a few clicks away, right? And maybe I want to use another service. I had selected EC2. Maybe I want to select S3. Just click on S3. As soon as I click on S3, I'll be taken to S3. Very intuitive, very good user interface. It's not like a lot of clutter is there, right? You want to create a bucket, just click on create bucket. And it's very easy. You put a name, next, select a bunch of, so I'll tell you what options to select once you start working with S3, what each one of these does, but they have given very good references here. Keep all versions of a bucket in the same bucket. Plain English. Maybe you want more information about it, right? You are not sure. Just click on learn more. It will take you the docs section that I explained yesterday and give you a very nice detailed article around what that option does for you, right? So it's not like, okay, you have to know everything beforehand and then only you can create. Maybe while you are creating something, you can learn about it. Maybe you want server access logging. Just click on learn more. Okay, I want to learn more about it. I want to dig deep into it. Here is my server access logging. Maybe you want to learn more about tags. Just click on learn more, right? So each and every one of these options you can learn more about, right? So see, it's a good explanation. Each option comes with explanation. Okay, if you're selecting this button, what it will do for you, right? But say this information is not enough for you. Just click on learn more and it will take you there. Okay, so all this like comes with really nice documentation. Say on top as well, see, we have put a very nice explanation. They have, you don't have any how to get started, how you can get started. So right on this page as well, they have put a bunch of documentation. So maybe you want to learn about the console. They'll show you a video about the console. You want to more information, introduction to the new Amazon S3 console, right? So it comes with all the user manuals and everything with it. Another way to interact. So this is the management console, right? Nice graphic user interface. You're interacting with it. You can also interact with CLI, command line interface. You can type a bunch of commands on your machine, right? So what's the advantage of CLI? Let me give you an example. Say you want to create a server, right? If you do it via management console, maybe it's 10 clicks, but for creating 1,000 servers, you have to click 10 times. That means it's 100,000 clicks, and 100,000 clicks is no easy task, right? You are gonna make mistakes. Imagine you have to do as a solution architect 100,000 clicks. You can't do that, right? And if you are going to do it, it take huge amounts of time. So what AWS provides is a very nice command line utility, right? You take a command, you customize it according to you, write the command and just copy paste it multiple times, right? And you can just run a loop through it. Okay, run this command 1,000 times or 10,000 times. It will just run 10,000 times and just create 10,000 servers for you. It's way easier that way. You have to write the command once and it will run for 10,000 times. But if you are doing clicks on the console, so this is my console, say I have to create S3 buckets and I have to create 1,000 of buckets. So I have to click this create bucket button 1,000 times. But if you have the command, you have to write the command once and just paste that command 1,000 times. It's a way easier task, right? So that's what the CLI gives me, the power to do it faster. And then is AWS SDK, Software Development Kit for AWS. So as the AWS Solution Architect, you have to know first two of these. You don't have to learn the third, but yes, it's there. Okay, so AWS SDK is for developers, okay, the people who are writing softwares and they want to interact with AWS via their software, right? So then the AWS SDK comes handy. Okay, so this is your AWS account sign up page. Just sign in. I already showed you this, how it works. AWS CLI. So AWS CLI is very easy. It's free to use. You just Google, I want AWS CLI. Click on there. It will show you where you can find. Click on AWS command line interface. Okay, so there are a bunch of ways to do that. Either you have to run Windows or you have to run Mac or Linux. So I'm sure you'll be running one of these, either Windows or Mac or Linux. If you're running Windows, run 64 or 32-bit Windows installer. Just click on this. It will download a file for you and you'll be able to do that. And if you're on Mac or Linux, you just have to write this command in your terminal. Okay, so say I'm on a Mac and let me run this. So I select terminal. Yeah, I just write pip. What was the command? Install, just copy it. Let's paste it here. So it's saying pip install CLI not found. So why is saying that? Because it requires Python first, right? So first you have to install Python. Click on Python. It will take you the Python website, right? Once you are on Python website, this is for Linux as well as Mac. So latest version. So you're on Mac OS, right? Click on Mac OS and you have to download this. So 64-bit installer, click on this, click on allow. It will download a file for you, right? Once it's downloaded, install it. As soon as you install it, then you will be able to run this command. Okay, because AWS CLI requires Python 2.6.5 or higher. So this is the latest Python that you are getting here. Just click on it and it will install that for you. All right, so I don't have to do that. And once you are done with Python, just do pip install AWS CLI and you are done. So how to use it, we'll explore it as we go along. I have a couple of sessions reserved just for AWS CLI. We'll explore it in detail, but this is just to put it out there. And then AWS SDKs. So SDKs we have for different languages, different programming languages. We have for C++, Go, Java, JavaScript, .NET, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby. We have our SDKs available for these languages. You don't have to worry about it. You are not a software engineer, right? But if you know a software engineer who wants to interact with AWS, just point them to this URL, github.com/AWS samples, right? So if you go here, it will take you here. And these are all the SDK examples we have. So these are for developers, the coders who are going to code stuff. You are going to interact with AWS via their code. Do not worry about it. So what we learned today? We learned today Amazon makes available a number of certifications and learning part to validate your skills, right? So they're validating. So if you give a AWS certification exam, they're validating, okay, you know AWS, okay? And there are 3 levels. Entry level, that is practitioner, mid level, that is associate, and senior level is professional. So practitioner is more of like doing high school. Associate is more like doing your bachelor's degree, and professional is like doing your master's. And then you have your specialty certifications that are like doing the PhD in a particular subject, right? And solution architecting is relevant to those individuals who are working on architecting and designing AWS solution. So if you are going to be working on AWS, if you want to design solutions around AWS, you have to have a solution architect track. And AWS provides a number of mechanisms for interfacing with the services. One is Management Console, that is that nice web URL that we get, aws.amazon.com. Then I have the CLI, my command line interface, and then I have my software development kit for interacting via code. So you have to be aware of first 2 of these, Management Console and CLI. So here's something that I wanted to share with you guys. If you go to YouTube and just search Amazon AWS, right? So you will get this channel, Amazon Web Services channel, right? Just click on it. You'll be taken here on this Amazon Web Services official YouTube page, right? This is not some trainer or anything or some guy out there. This is actual Amazon, right? So now you want to learn about something, right? Maybe you want to dig deep into some product. Maybe you want to dig deep into EC2. Just type EC2 here on this search, not the search verb, the search that is there in the channel. Click on EC2, click enter. You will be presented huge amounts of videos that Amazon itself has put out for people like us to clear our concepts around. I'm going to teach you each and every one of these. Don't worry about it. But say you got some free time, you want to learn more about it. You can also learn this through these videos. Just click on one of these. Maybe you have 5 minutes. So each of these videos, so there are very long ones and as well. There are a couple of videos that are 50, 55 minutes. You don't have to worry about those. Just select a few that like this. This is a 2 minutes video, right? This is again a 2 minutes video. How I assign a static host name into a private EC2 instance. Just a 2 minute video, right? And you learn a good thing that is asked in an interview that you are going to use. So it's just a 2 minute video. So kickstart for SQL Server 27. This is just a 7 or 8 minute video. You can watch this video while you are, commuting or while you have a couple of minutes free. Just spend 5 minutes on you and watch one of these videos and you'll learn something very good. Okay. And if you have a trip or something and you want to learn more, you can even watch this full scale videos. So these AWS reInvent videos. So AWS hosts a conference every year for their employees and the people who know AWS for industry, where they introduce their products for the first time. So this is them introducing AWS EC2. So this is a foundation level video for EC2 at a global conference that is available free for you to watch. Maybe you have an hour on a weekend, just spin up one of these videos and you'll learn something really good. Okay, you don't have to go deep into it, but yes, if you want something, it is out there and you can learn from it as well. So my goal is to provide you with the most amount of materials, documentation, the links. I'm going to give you practice labs where you can go on a website. They'll guide you. Okay, click here, click there. So you can learn building stuff with a guide around you. Okay, I'm going to build stuff in front of you. But yes, when you are watching this webcast, as I'm delivering you, it's difficult to follow along at a same pace because it's your first time. I've been doing this for long. But yeah, these web videos are also available to you as recorded sessions. If you miss something, if you are doing it at your own pace, just go and watch that video, download that video from your LMS, watch that video again, and you will get a really good sense of it. And then try following it. Okay. So as I'm doing stuff in the class, don't try to, okay, I am going to do it right with you, because that will confuse you, because I'll be explaining a lot of stuff. And if you concentrate on just following, just replicating my steps, you will miss a huge amount, right? I'll be showing you each and everything. Watch it in the class, take your notes. And then when my session is done, try doing this on your own, right? So like today I created a AWS account, right? As soon as the class is over, maybe tomorrow you have time before this class, go out there and try creating an account. And then tell me how was your experience, right? If you faced any difficulties. And if you did face any difficulty, I'll try to resolve those. Okay, sounds good? All right, then I think this would be it for today's class. Bye-bye, guys. Take care. Good night.
JanBask Training. Learn and grow.